Hi guys, welcome to my latest Super Nintendo collection video update. Recently hit the big milestone of 100 boxed American Super Nintendo games. It's taken me a long time to get to 100. As you know, if you watch my channel regularly, I'm not someone who will just buy games because they're cheap or because I can get them. I like to take my time and I like to buy the game that I want, not any old crap for the Super Nintendo. I will only buy games that actually interest me or I know I've already played in the past and are enjoyable. And I also like to try and get them in as best condition as possible because I'm just extremely, I don't know, OCD really is probably the right term when it comes to Super Nintendo. My other collections, I have that a little bit. I like to get them in good condition. Obviously I don't see the point in buying games that are battered. I've just never seen any reason for doing that when collecting. But that's just me, that's just the way I am as a collector. The Super Nintendo is my favourite system of all time, and therefore when I buy the games, because they're in cardboard boxes as well, it makes it extremely difficult to get them in good condition, but I do try and get them as close to mint as possible. It isn't always possible. I mean, these games are like 20, 25 years old sometimes, so for the cardboard to even be intact is pretty damn impressive really most of the time. But yeah, I'm going to basically, for this update, I will just go from number 1 to number 101. Because I've actually got 101 now, so that's really cool. And I'll just give you a brief overview of what I think of the game. Hopefully give you a bit of backstory as well as I'm going along, if I can remember how much I paid for some of these games and where I got them from, because I can't remember everything. But it has been a few years. If you've never seen my channel before, it's the first time you watch one of my videos. I've been collecting these for years. It's not like I've just picked these up in the last few months. So, you know, it's not like I'm rich or, you know, it's nothing like that. It's literally I've been collecting Super Nintendo games, probably properly collecting since about 2007, 2008 is when I started to collect again, because I used to collect for the Super Famicom, the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo. Due to money, I ended up selling all of my collection, and then I decided when I was going to get back into it again, when I was back on my feet, that I'd go get American games. So that was around about 2007, 2008. So you are talking at least 6 years it's taken me to amass these games. So it's a very slow process. I'm not willing to rush myself. I just want to enjoy the games for what they are. So we're 2.5 minutes in. Better show you some games really, shouldn't I? So number 1, first game up is, if I can just get it out. Okay, so the first game is Aladdin. This is a Capcom Disney platformer. Absolutely stunning game. I mean, look at the cover art, it's beautiful. It's a really nice game, this one is. If you love your platformers, especially if you like Disney platformers, you can't really go wrong with Aladdin. I will be completely honest, I've said it many a time in these videos, and I've probably said it in my last Super Nintendo update video, that in my opinion, the Mega Drive game, Genesis game, is a better game. They're both brilliant games as they are on their own, because they're two completely different experiences made by two totally different companies. I believe that the Mega Drive Genesis one is made by Virgin and Dave Perry. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it was Shiny or something. I might be completely wrong there, but I'm pretty certain it's Virgin that put that one out. I'm not a big Mega Drive guy, so I don't know. And obviously this one's done by Capcom. It's a completely different style. I mean, it's really shiny. It's Super Nintendo. It's really glossy, and it's like, look how good the graphics are. It's got really nice music. Music's excellent. The actual game, as I say, is completely different to the Mega Drive game. You can throw apples in this, which you can't do on the Mega Drive. On the Mega Drive, you get a big sword, which is really cool. It's just a totally different experience, which is what I like about the 16-bit era, is that you can have a game like Aladdin on two different consoles, rival consoles as they were at the time, and you get a completely and utterly different experience. So it makes it worthwhile for you to pick both games up. But yeah, that's Aladdin, quality title. I believe I paid £20 for this at the time when I purchased it a couple of years ago. I've got a video on YouTube somewhere when I picked this up, so that would confirm it, but I'm pretty certain that's how much I paid for it. Next up, another platform game, Aero the Acrobat by Sunsoft. It's alright. I've only played it a couple of times. It wasn't really my thing. I only picked it up because it was cheap at the time, and that probably contradicts what I said at the beginning of the video, but I just thought the game looked interesting, so I thought why not, and it was a really good price. But yeah, it looks alright. I don't know if I'm bothered about getting Aero the Acrobat 2. I have considered buying it, but I just don't know if there's any point, because I'm not a massive fan of the first game, so yeah, I probably won't buy the second one, to be quite honest. And it's not exactly a cheap game either, the second one. Next one, Pretty decent game, Alien free. For some reason, not an easy game to get on the Super Nintendo boxed. Don't really understand why. I always assumed this game would be really common, like most of the first party Mario games. I thought it'd be really easy to pick it up, but I've actually found it quite difficult to get it boxed in decent condition. It does come up boxed quite regular, but only in limited quantities and not in very good condition. I played this recently when I picked it up, and it's alright, it's not too bad. It's a nice looking game. I have been told that the Mega Drive version is a lot better, so I will definitely be picking that up on my Sega Genesis at some point to try it out. But overall, it's not a bad little game. It's it's basically a platform run and gun. You have a map system where you choose your missions at the beginning, and you just blast aliens, which is kind of cool. But it's not too bad. I remember when it came out, all those years ago, and remember seeing the magazine and the screenshots, and I was quite impressed with the way it looked. But yeah, it's alright, and I got it cheap as well, so I would say pick it up for the right price. I wouldn't pay more than £20, and I think that's probably a bit much, to be quite honest. I know some of the people are silly priced on eBay, but you get that with all games. But I would say 15 to 20 quid is probably a reasonable, fair price for this game in decent condition. If it's battered, obviously a lot less. The next one is a game I recently picked up, which I'm really enjoying at the moment, and that is An American Tale, 5 All Goes West, based on the film apparently. I didn't know because I'd never seen the film. But yeah, this is a really great platformer. Seems to be quite a lot of platformers at the beginning of the collection. Just the way it is in alphabetical order, I suppose. But yeah, 5 Will Go West, really nice game. I've got a gameplay on my channel if you want to check that out. And it's a really, really impressive game. It looks gorgeous. I mean, beautiful graphics, really cool soundtrack. It plays really well. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it at the moment, and it's a bloody expensive game for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, as a collector myself, I don't really bother with auctions. I do occasionally if I see a game that I really, really want and I've been trying to get for ages, and it's a low price and I might have a possibility of winning. But I don't like auctions because it's always the same way. I mean, just like myself, everybody bids at the last second, so you never really know if you're going to win, and then you're possibly going to get outbid, and I just can't be asked. I'd rather just try and get it on a cheap buy now if possible. So I just bide my time, and I keep an eye on what people are listing it for, and checking the completed listings to see what it sells for, to get an idea. And people ask silly prices for this game. I've seen one person sell it for $25, but it had stickers on the cartridge and things, so that obviously limits the price. I've seen, in good condition, seen people asking $100+ for it. So it's a bit of a varied one, but if you can see it around for a good price, then I'd definitely pick it up. It's a cracking game. So next up we've got a fighting game, and that is The Art of Fighting from the Neo Geo. Yeah, it's not a bad port, I don't think, actually. I was quite impressed with this, considering like they downgraded it from the Neo Geo to a Super Nintendo. I think they did a pretty bloody good job of it. I'm not a big fan of the first Art of Fighting, if I'm honest. Number 3 is my favourite. I find number 1 a little difficult and a little stiff, and I don't know, I find it really hard to play, and I don't know if it's like the button combinations, I'm so used to Street Fighter or what it is, but I just find it hard to play. Really cheap game. It cost me something like £6 when I bought this, so it's relatively easy to get for a decent price. And if you're a fan of Neo Geo games but you're not willing to pay the ridiculous prices of AES games, then I would go ahead and pick this up, because it's not a bad little downgrade at all. Pretty decent artwork and all. I mean, most of the Western games, yeah, compared to the Japanese games, we get stiffed on the artwork, but it's not bad. So next up is an absolutely fantastic shooter, and that is, of course, Konami's s.n.e.s. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, this game is just brilliant. It's a mixture of vertical and horizontal shooting, which is kind of interesting, because I'm more of a horizontal shooter fan. I like vertical shooters, but I love horizontal shooters. I never really understand what it is that makes somebody like one or the other more than the other. So, if that makes sense. What I mean is, I don't understand what it is psychologically that makes somebody prefer to play horizontal or to prefer to play vertical, but I don't know. I'm much more of a horizontal fan. I think it's because growing up, I've played a lot of games like R-Type, Salamander, Gradius, Armalite, and they're all horizontal shooters, and they became my favourite type of shooter as a kid, so I think that maybe that's what it is. It's just stuck with me. But this is a really good game. Unfortunately, s.n.e.s has got a reputation for being hard as hell, and it really is. It's a proper tough game. This one, price-wise, is a bit weird. I paid £20 for this, and mine's in really nice condition. A little bit of scuffing to the edges. I'd probably say 9.5 out of 10. It's pretty much close to mint. And now people are asking stupid money for this game. I don't understand why. It seems to be getting up high, and it is the buy nows. I mean, obviously, if you look at auctions, you'll probably get a better deal, but the buy now prices for this are getting stupid, and I don't think it's worth any more than 20 quid myself. So I wouldn't recommend anyone paying more than £20. Maybe it'll force the prices down that way. But it is a really cool game. I'm just really crap at it. I've only made it to the second level once. So next one up is a bit of a stinker. It's Batman Forever. Now, based on the movie, the only reason I purchased this game was literally because I was intrigued to see what it was about, because I've heard so many things about how crap it is that it's a cheap game to pick up. It's only a couple of quid, couple of dollars. I thought, why not pick it up, give it a try, see what you think. And it is pretty crap, to be quite honest. It's got Mortal Kombat animations, and it just doesn't work. It's just really silly. The best thing about the game is the cover art, to be quite honest. It looks quite nice. That's all I can say. The game is pretty crappy. But, you know, what the hell. I mean, it's interesting, really, when you've got most of the games you want to get for a collection, to go and buy these games that are pretty bad, just to try them out for yourself to see what you think. So when I've got all the games I want, I will be doing that, because there are quite a few games that aren't on my list, which I will try and pick up and see what they're like. So next one we got is an absolutely brilliant Batman game, Batman Returns. This is how you do it the right way. And this is Konami. Absolutely fantastic. If, like me, you're a fan of scrolling beat-em-ups, this is one to buy without even thinking about it. You have to own this for the Super Nintendo. It is fantastic. It's got absolutely superb music, beautiful graphics, really nice control system, great boss battles. The whole game is just really well made and well crafted. It's got really cool cinematic cutscenes between the levels, you know, with Michael Keaton, which is brilliant because he's the best Batman, you know, apart from Christian Bale, of course. But yeah, it's just an absolutely fantastic game and an absolute must-buy for Super Nintendo fans, especially, as I say, if you like scrolling beat-em-ups. So back onto the shooters, we have a game called Biometal. I didn't know anything about this game. The only reason I purchased this game is because you can probably see from the red sticker there that it has music from 2 Unlimited, and being a massive 2 Unlimited fan as a kid, I mean, I was like proper obsessive 2 Unlimited fan. So when I found that out, I thought, I've got to buy a shooter that's got 2 Unlimited soundtrack. I mean, that's just going to be absolutely awesome. Turns out the game is actually pretty damn good as well. It's a lot of fun. Nice little screen, nice little artwork on the front there as well. That was quite impressive. But yeah, I mean, I've got a gameplay of this on my channel as well. It's a pretty tough shooter, I'll give it that. I mean, it kicks my ass. But the more you, like most of these shooters, the more you practice, the better you get, and over time you get further and further through the game. Yeah, Activision as well. Never even noticed that before. Yeah, Christ, how might you have fallen? But no, it's a really nice game. Definitely one to pick up. Not a cheap game. You're looking at about $80 most of the time for this game, which is about, what, 65 quid, something like that, 60, 65, plus postage, you know, and it's being American as well. I mean, if you buy American games like myself and you're importing, 99% of the time I don't get caught out by the taxman, which is quite handy, but every now and again you will get caught by customs tax. And when you bought a game like this, and I did pay customs tax on this one from what I can remember, so you're talking about another 10 or 15 quid for tax and handling fees on top of the 65 quid you paid for the game and the postage as well. So you're knocking on 400 quid, and it's a bit of a pain in the arse, but you know, you import games is what happens, and it's in absolutely lovely condition as well, so I was really happy to get that one. So next up is one of the most recent games I picked up. It is another platform game, and that is Disney's Bonkers, another Capcom game. Capcom, for me, along with Konami, can do no wrong. I've said it before, 16-bit era, Capcom, Konami, they are absolutely amazing. They can do no wrong at all. They really can't. You can't fault what they put out. The content was just so good back then, so strong. I'd never heard of this show. In the comments in the video, a lot of people seem to know what this is, so I don't know if this was a cartoon that came out when I was older, and that's why I don't know what it is. But it is a really cool little game. I've got a gameplay of this on my channel as well, if anybody wants to check that out. I'm sure most people probably have, but if you haven't, please do. But no, it's a nice little game. Very colourful, very bright, very Capcom platform, basically. there's not a lot to say about it. You throw bombs at dogs. If that don't sell it, I don't know what does. Right, next one up, we have Brawl Brothers. Now this is the second game in a trilogy of scrolling beat 'em up games. If you've ever heard of the game Rival Turf, which a lot of people say is a total turkey and is crap, I'm a big fan of scrolling beat 'em ups, so even the crap ones I will play. And I've always had a thing for Rival Turf. I really like the series. I find them a lot of fun. They are pretty bad. I mean, compare them to games like, you know, Final Fight, Streets of Rage, you know, the top end, the top tier. They ain't nowhere near that level. But they're a lot of fun. And most scrolling beat 'em ups, I think, even the bad ones, are just a lot of fun to just turn your mind off and just sit there and just batter people. It's great. This is the second game. You got Rival Turf, you got Brawl Brothers, and you also have the third game, which is called Peacekeepers. In Japan, they've got completely different games. They've got Rushing Beat Run, and the third one, I can never remember the title, but it's either Rushing Beat Shura or Rushing Beat Sakura. I'm never too sure. I don't know. But anyway, this one is probably my favourite of the three. This is a really good game. Unfortunately, the US version, it was a bit nerfed. I don't know what happened, but I was reading online because I was trying to find out what was going on with this game. Because I had the Japanese version years ago and I collected for the Super Famicom. Or collected for the Super Famicom, should I say. And I really enjoyed this game. I got really far into the game, had a lot of fun with it. I got this American version, and literally about the second or third level? It's really early in the game, you walk into the sewers, and you have to go through doorways to get out of the sewers. Now on the Japanese one, it's easy to get out of sewers and carry on with the game and enjoy it. The American one, and I read online that this was a problem when it got released, they made it more difficult to get out of the sewer. So you end up having to try every single door until you find the correct one that lets you out. And I have not yet managed to find my way out of the sewers, and it's really annoying because this game is fantastic. You know, it's got 2-player controls, which is excellent because obviously Final Fight on the Super Nintendo doesn't have 2-player option, which was really annoying at the time. But this one does. It's got really nice characters. It's got like a ninja dude in there, which is pretty damn cool. It's really colourful. Just, you know, it's a budget fighter, but I like it. I mean, it's a cracking game. And it's Jalico, and I think Jalico got a pretty bad reputation, but I don't know. I really enjoyed the series anyway. So the next one we've got is a game that's not easy to get at all, and that is Capcom Soccer Shootout. And for anyone who's new to my channel, I'm not somebody that says, oh, this game's rare, because that's bullshit. That's just not how I am. I'm just telling you if a game is difficult to find, because it is. This one doesn't get listed very often at all. I managed to get this from Amazon America, Amazon.com, instead of eBay, because I couldn't get a copy on eBay. The reason I picked this one up is because I was looking at lists of games that Capcom and Konami had released, and I'd never heard of this one. And I thought, well, it's Capcom, it can't be bad. And I got a gameplay of this on my channel if you want to check it out. It's actually pretty decent, actually. I'm quite impressed with this. It's a lot of fun to play. I don't quite think it's up there. Well, in fact, it isn't up there with like FIFA and s.n.e.s. But it is a bloody good football game, and Capcom did a cracking job on it. The cover could have been better, obviously. But yeah, it's definitely one to play and try. As I said, just trying to get a box copy isn't easy and it isn't cheap, but it's a cracking game. So next one up is an alright game actually. It's not that bad. I mean, it's probably got a reputation of being a bit crap, but it's not too bad. And that is Chester Cheetah, Too Cool to Fall. There's another platform game based on Chester Cheetah. And I've forgotten the name of the crisps or whatever it was that he used to bloody represent. It's another one of them where you got promotional figures that they have on adverts for products, and they make a game out of it. It's just completely escaped me now. My mind's gone blank. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. But yeah, I mean, it's alright. I've played it a couple of times. It's not too bad. Pretty standard, fair platformer. They don't really try anything amazing with it. But yeah, it's alright. It's really cheap as well. There's 2 games as well. There's another Chester Cheetah, which I can't remember what the name was. I've not picked that one up yet, but maybe I will do. I don't know. I might give this one a bit more try first. Give it some more time and see how I get on. Alright, next one is a great game, and that is from the put on the shelf. That is Chuck Rock. You can see that's Sony Image Soft, always good. Really fun little platform game, this one. I do like the platformers. Yeah, I mean, Chuck Rock's going back to like the Amiga days and, you know, the old Commodore when I was a kid, and so it was quite interesting to play a console version of it, and it's not too bad at all, really. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more slow paced than a lot of platformers, but I mean, look at that artwork, and that artwork's really good actually. I've never really paid much attention to the artwork, but it's actually really cool. There's a lot going on in that picture. But yeah, it's just a really fun, you know, jovial platformer, yeah, based on a caveman. So you can't go wrong with that. Right, okay, next one. It's Clay Fighter. Basically, claymation models, one-on-one fighter, Street Fighter style. It's all right actually. I mean, when I was a kid, I don't. This is where nostalgia kicks in. I think before I purchased this, I remember thinking about this game and remembering how good it was at the time and how much I enjoyed it, and I loved it as a kid. As an adult, I've played it, and it ain't that good. It looks all right, but I don't know. It's just sort of lacking a certain something that it doesn't look good enough to be on a s.n.e.s to me. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but there's just, yeah, there's definitely something not right about it. But it's just an okay game. Maybe if I give it more of a chance, I don't know. But yeah, it's all right. It's another cheap one as well. Another one is this next one's an absolute classic. That is, of course, Contra 3: The Alien Wars, or if you're British like me, this will be Super Pro Protector. Fantastic artwork. I mean, it just says everything about the game there. It's got the bosses, the characters. It just shows you everything the game has to offer. That is how you do artwork. I mean, that really sells the game. This is an absolutely stunning game. If you don't know, Contra 3 is a run and gun. You basically run from left to right on the screen, blasting the shit out of everything that gets in your way, and you get tons of enemies coming at you. This Super Nintendo game is just absolutely awesome. It really took like the s.n.e.s games and just made them, I don't know how to explain it, just basically just took what was good about the s.n.e.s games and made it 10 times better. That, if you see on the artwork there in the top right hand corner, that blue skeleton, the first time I played this as a kid, and I got to that bit where the wall opens up and the skeleton, his hands come out the wall and he starts pulling the wall apart, that was just unbelievable. I mean, it's just epic. The effects on this game, they're just absolutely stunning. The really cool part of this game for me is the top down section. You have to see that. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's in my gameplay for this. It's excellent. The old Mode 7 and stuff, man. Contra 3 is just brilliant. I think most people who know about Super Nintendo know that Contra 3 is brilliant. I'd say this one, you want to be paying about £30 to £35 for a good condition copy. I wouldn't pay any more than that. People that are charging stupid buy nows on eBay America at the moment. I've seen people asking, like, what was that one I saw the other day? In fact, it might have been yesterday. It was something around about $150, nearly $200, and I was like, come on, no one's going to pay that. That's ridiculous. It's only a £30 game. 35 at an absolute push if you have to. I would never go higher than 35 quid for this game. And I paid about 30 for my copy, so yeah, definitely worth picking up. Absolute must-have. Next one is a bit shit. If I'm honest, it's Cool World. I purchased this brand new sealed for $3 by now. So yeah, it ain't very good. It's pretty poor. The artwork, very nice. The game is crap. I tried playing it. It's a really dodgy platform with a bloke in a trench coat, and it's just, nah, it's bloody awful. But the artwork looks really nice. From what I can remember, the film weren't much cop either, so yeah, I wouldn't waste your money on that one. So next up we've got Cybernator, which I recently picked up. Well, I say picked up, it was given to me as a gift, which is even better. It was absolutely awesome. Yeah, not one I've ever played before until I recently got it, and I did the gameplay the other day. It's a tough game, but my god, it's fun. I mean, it is really fun. Yeah, I've since found out and all that you can use the shoulder buttons to hold your position to aim your gun, which makes it a lot easier. The game's just brilliant. It's a really nice looking game, lovely music, really nice classic Super Nintendo score, and it's just a lot of fun. It's just bloody hard. And when you look at that artwork, it just looks great. The mech just bursting out there, and there's blokes running for it, and it just looks quality. It's just Konami. Konami is quality. Alright, okay, so next one up, if I can just get it out of there, is s.n.e.s Demolition Man. This is actually quite a lot of fun. The reason I picked this game up, I saw some gameplay on YouTube, not realising that the game is actually different styles of gameplay as you progress through it. The bit that I saw the gameplay was the first level, where it's a 2D run and gun, jumping on zip wires, jumping across buildings, blasting people in the face. It looked absolutely epic, and I was like, I've got to buy that game. I picked this up as a sealed copy on eBay, which is why it's in such nice condition. I think it was about 20 quid at the time when I bought it. I think it was last year or the year before. I can't quite remember, but yeah, it was about 20 quid. Got it from a UK seller, Ninja's Castle, brilliant seller. And when you get past that first level, it goes into top-down mode. If you've ever seen, I think it's Last Action Hero, the Stallone game, the Arnold Schwarzenegger game, get it right, based on the Arnie movie, obviously. That one's top-down, and it's sort of like grid-based, and you sort of walk around just blasting. And it's sort of a bit like that on this one. It's really strange. I need to get further into it and really enjoy this, because it's actually a pretty decent game. It's one of them games you could easily write off as being utter shite because it's based on a movie. But I would definitely not pass this one up if it's cheap. You know, I mean, no, I wouldn't pay a lot. As I paid 20 quid because it's a sealed copy, so I'd say a used copy, £10 maybe is a fair price for it. 15 if you really want it, but it's definitely worth a go. Right, okay, so on to the next one. Really cool game, this one, classic game, and it is Desert Strike. Really cool game. Return to the Gulf. In fact, Desert Strike Return to the Gulf. If you don't know, if you've never played this game, you control a helicopter and you have to do missions. So you basically bomb bases, bomb satellite arrays. You can refuel your helicopter. You can shoot people as they run across the ground. You can get people in little trucks that are below you. You can blow the trucks up. It's a lot of fun. The Strike series in general is just a lot of fun. They're really good games. I don't even know what kind of game you'd call this. I don't know what the genre is for these games. But I mean, it's not a shooter. It's not a strategy game. It's not. I suppose it's an action game, maybe, but it's not a war simulator either. Although technically, I suppose it is in a way. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Basically, if you want to fly a helicopter and blow people up and blow buildings up, this is the one for you. Right. Okay. So next one up is another platform game. It's a game called Dino City. I've only played it a couple of times. Yeah. The artwork is terrible. It's alright. It's a nice looking game, but it's just. I mean, it's Iron. It should be good because it's Iron, but it really ain't that great. It's sort of one of them platformers where you go, oh, that's okay. It's sort of like if you got nothing else to play, you'd play this. But I don't know. Maybe if I give it more of a play, I'll get into it. I mean, the idea is at the moment I want to get the games. I do play all my games, but I don't get enough time to dedicate to like a chunk of time to complete every single game. So what I want to do is, once I've got all the games I want on my list, my aim is 200 games. Might get a few more after that. I probably will actually, but at the moment I'm trying to get to 200. That's the main aim. Then I want to do what Ninja Bear Hug's done, where he's completed his Mega Drive and Master System collection, and now he's just playing the games and enjoying them. I want to go through them one by one and complete them and just thoroughly enjoy them. Because at the moment I sort of dabble, and that's not good. But anyway, Dino City, yeah. It's alright, it's not too bad. Yeah, it isn't one of those games that blew me away, let's put it that way. However, this next game did, because it's an absolute classic, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, what can you really say about it that hasn't been said? It's rare, not in terms of value, in terms of the company that made the game they called Rare. Obviously, most people will know that, but just in case someone doesn't. Yeah, this game is absolutely phenomenal. It's a 2D platformer with Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. You've got the mechanic where you can flip between the two characters. It's just an absolute stunning game. It's an achievement, and it's an absolutely amazing achievement on the SNES. The graphics, the music, the gameplay, the lighting, and it is really tough. I mean, it proper kicks your ass. It's very twitchy in places. But it's just an absolutely quality game. I'm right near the end of this game. I haven't got too many levels to do now, but I haven't managed to complete it because it's really bleeding hard. I haven't picked up Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 yet, and the reason being is just because I want to finish number 1. I don't want to start 2 and 3. I want to do them one at a time because they're really cheap at the moment. Well, I say cheap, they're about 30 quid each, but in terms of SNES, that's pretty cheap. So I want to wait until I complete the first one, then I can start on 2, and then I can complete that one. Well, hopefully, because number 2 apparently, as far as I'm aware, is the hardest one, and it does look bloody difficult. And then I can get stuck into number 3. but that's going to be a while yet. So next up, we've got another shooter, and this one is called by Jalico, called Earth Defense Force. It's alright actually. It's pretty basic in its design, but it's pretty decent. And once you learn to use like the homing missiles and decent weapons, the first time I did a gameplay of this, I got a lot of feedback. People saying use the homing missiles. Makes a hell of a difference because I didn't do very well on my gameplay. I sat down afterwards, put the homing missile on, and I got through about 3 or 4 levels. It's a lot easier, but it's a really fun little shooter. If you're into your shooters, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people say that the Mega Drive's the best for shooters, and it probably is, but the s.n.e.s can hold its own. It's got some really nice shooters, and I wouldn't dismiss this one. It's definitely worth a pick up. So next one we have another classic platform game, Earthworm Jim. It's wacky, it's crazy, it's fun, it's colourful, it's got fantastic animation, beautiful music, graphics are just awesome. Really fun game. 24 meg cartridge apparently comes with the box, which is always good. And yeah, you play an earthworm called Jim. So, and you basically run a big gun, and you like, I don't know, man. I don't even. It's so out there. I mean, I don't even know how you explain it, but it's a quality title. Definitely one to be picking up and playing. I want to get Earthworm Jim 2 eventually as well. But like Donkey Kong Country, I want to try and complete this one first. So next up, Super Nintendo Classic F-Zero. Fantastic Mode 7 racing game. I mean, the music in this game, the visuals aside, because the visuals will just blow your socks off. They're absolutely stunning and they're so impressive. But the music is just some of the best Super Nintendo music. It really is impressive. It's one of them you just toe tapping. You just sit there and just like big grin on your face like an idiot, and just playing the game. It's like, this is awesome. It's a really fun game. It's fast. It's frantic. As I said, the Mode 7 is just an amazing effect and looks so cool. Excellent game. So another Mode 7 game we've got is F1 Race of Champions, which in the UK is known as F1 Exhaust Heat. It's like a top-down F1 game, like a top-down F1 version of F-Zero, really, I suppose you can look at it that way. It's not bad, actually. It's bloody fast. It's surprisingly fast, actually, and it becomes difficult to control the car, but it's not a bad little game. I have got a gameplay of this on my channel as well if you want to check that out. Definitely one to have a look at and try out. Not bad artwork and all, actually, if you look at that. I mean, considering it's an F1 game, there isn't a whole lot they could really do with the artwork, so I think they did quite a nice job on that. Nice and colourful, nice checkered flag as well. The sequel, I've seen the sequel on YouTube, and it looks a bit crap, so I don't think I'll bother picking it up. I'll just stick with the first one. Next up, we've got another Neo Geo downgrade, Fatal Fury. Another cheap game. I got this for about £6 as well, same time as I got Art of Fighting. Really nice cover as well, though, if you look at that, especially that dude in the background, looks awesome. Yeah, I don't think the characters on the box actually look like the real characters in the game, though, to be quite honest. But it's alright, actually. Never been a big fan of Fatal Fury. A lot of the SNK fighters don't really do it for me like this, or King of Fighters. Art of Fighting is about the only one I really enjoy. But Fatal Fury's okay. It's just an alright game. I'm a Street Fighter guy. I mean, it's really hard to please someone like me who's a big, massive Street Fighter obsessive, because I can't really see anything being better than that. But I will be getting Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special. They are really hard to get in good condition though. I seem to be having a real pain in the arse time trying to get those. They're dirt cheap, but they're always in crap condition. Always got battered boxes or damaged labels on the cartridge, or they've got stickers on them, or the manual's all mangled up. But I'll get them eventually. But yeah, it's in really nice condition as well. I've forgotten how good the condition is on that one. Next up, we've got a game that I absolutely adore, one of my favourite games growing up in the arcades, and that is Final Fight. Another Capcom classic scrolling beat 'em up. I mean, just, if you've never played Final Fight, you really have to, it's brilliant. The Super Nintendo version is a really nice port. Graphics are great, gameplay's great, feels good, controls are spot on, music is an absolutely brilliant rendition of the arcade. However, as everyone always says, it's a bad conversion in the respect of you don't have a two-player mode, you don't have the character Guy to play, which doesn't bother me because I've never liked Guy. I'm a Cody guy. I've always been a Cody fan. I've always thought Guy was the easy option. It makes the game far too easy for me. I always think, do you want to make the game challenging? Use Cody or Hager. But yeah, and there's like the industrial levels missing out of the game, and there's little bits of levels missing out as well, which I don't understand what they were thinking there. They really cocked it up good and proper. But all that aside, without being negative, this game is a really nice port. If you just want a really quality version of Final Fight, I'd play this one. I mean, we all know that the best version of Final Fight that was released back then is on the Sega Mega CD, which, you know, Final Fight CD is without doubt the premium arcade port. It's just absolutely superb. You've got all the levels, 2-player mode, all 3 characters. It looks great. The CD sound is amazing. But don't dismiss the Super Nintendo game. It's a really good game. So, next one up we've got Final Fight 2. Now this one is getting pricey. I don't know what's going on with this game. It seems to be going up and up in price. People are asking silly money for it. I don't really like this game that much. I think it's alright, and then the more I play it, the better it gets. A couple of months ago I sat down and played this, and I got right through to the last boss and died, and I ran out of credits. I was a little pissed off because I spent a couple of hours playing it. I always play as Mackie, the girl with the blonde hair. She's really cool. I think the other guy's called Dean. He's just crap. And then you got Mike Hager. So you got Mike's the only one that made it over from the original. It's all right. I mean, it's just not as good as Final Fight, and I really can't understand what it is. I can't explain it. It's like the graphics are better, the music is really cool. They moved it around a little bit, so you're not just going horizontal left to right. You do go vertical, and you scroll down the screen. But yeah, I don't know. It just lacks something. It really. And it's a scrolling beat 'em up, and as I said before, bad scrolling beat 'em ups are just as fun as the really good ones, but it just feels a bit stiff and a bit stale, and it's just something not there that should be, and it just isn't a lot of fun to play. But the more I've played it, the more I've enjoyed it. Although maybe it's a grower, it could be that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, this game anyway, as I say, price-wise, it seems to be getting silly. I don't know. It's always up and down. It's like sometimes it's reasonable, sometimes it's expensive. I mean, it just depends on the seller, really. I got this copy a few years back now. I think it's about 2009. I think I picked this up. At the time when I picked it up, you could hardly get this game. It was really hard to get it. I got really lucky and found an American seller, and she wasn't willing to ship it outside of the US. And at the time, I didn't have any friends on YouTube that I could ask for help to ship games across. So I basically emailed her and asked if she'd send it, and she said no. It didn't sell for ages. It just kept sitting there and sitting there. And I emailed her again and said, look, it isn't selling, and I really want to buy it. I'm not going to mess you around. Will you let me buy it? In the end, she caved and she went, yeah, okay, fair enough, you can have it. So I was quite happy with that. And I got it for $24, which at the time with the exchange rate was about £12. And you would not get this. You will not get this for £12 at the moment. No chance. So I was well happy with that. It does have sun fade, which is a pain in the arse, but to be quite honest, I don't really mind. I can live with that. Next one is a game I also got recently. Classic Konami shooter, Gradius 3. Really, really fun. Suffers badly from slowdown, but the game itself is absolutely superb. I do like the Gradius series. Again, it's a horizontal shooter, so it's going to be right up my street. It is a lot of fun. It's just that this slowdown can be kind of annoying. I know a lot of people have been saying to me on YouTube that it can be used for tactical reasons. It probably can if you're good with shooters, but I'm pretty terrible at them, so it doesn't do me any favours. But no, it's alright, it's pretty decent. Right, okay, so next one is Harley's Humongous Adventure. It's a really strange little platform game. I've only played it a couple of times. Don't really know how to explain it. I just saw this because I remember a couple of years back I was on YouTube looking for videos like you do for people who are talking about obscure Super Nintendo games that just don't get talked about. And I saw a couple of American kids playing this, and they were saying how great it was. And it's kind of interesting. I need to play it a lot more to really give you a good idea. As you can see, he's in a sink there. It's got really strange environments, and it's just a standard platformer. But it's not a bad little game at all. It's quite fun. Once I played it more, I'll be able to give you more of a full idea of what I think about it. But when I did try it, it wasn't too bad at all. So next up, we've got a game I absolutely love. Another platform game, Hook, based on the film. Sony Image Soft. I remember when this game came out, my mate at the time, who was older and had a job and had a Super Nintendo and had pretty much every game coming out and imports and everything. I remember seeing this on his TV and I was really impressed with it. It still stacks up, I think. I mean, visually it looks really, really impressive these days. It's got a lovely soundtrack on it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you play as Peter Pan. You can run around your little dagger, you know, smacking people, jumping on platforms. It's a really tasty game. So definitely pick this one up. Next one up you have Indiana Jones Greatest Adventures. This was a surprise for me. I didn't know really what to expect from this game, but I really was interested to try it out and see what it was like, and I wasn't disappointed. It can be a little frustrating. It is a platformer and you get to use a whip, which is cool, but there are parts of it where you get stuck and you're sitting there going, well, where am I supposed to go? And then eventually you work it out and you move on. That was a bit annoying because it kind of, you know, it kills the flow a little bit, but the game is absolutely brilliant. It's a really, really fun Indiana Jones game. If you like indie and you like 2D platformers, you can't lose with this one. It's not a very expensive game either, so yeah, I can't remember how much I paid for this. I think it's like $25, maybe $30, somewhere around there. So you're only talking about, what, 15, 18 quid? It isn't too bad at all, really. I know some people try and overcharge for this one, but it really isn't worth all that extra money. Definitely worth trying out. I'll check out my gameplay on my channel. It's an excellent game. So the next one up we got is Jim Lee's Wildcats, which is another scrolling beat 'em up, and this one's really impressive. I got this a couple of weeks back now, or maybe even a couple of months ago actually, I can't remember. It was recent anyway. Yeah, apparently based on a comic book. I'm not a comic book guy, so I don't know too much. Luckily a few guys in the community do know about it, and they were telling me about this in the comments. It's a really, really good game. I mean, the graphics are absolutely amazing. You've got massive sprites, great music, lovely weather effects. It's just a lot of fun. I did get stuck at the beginning because it's bloody frustrating because you've got to try and climb this wall and this robot keeps shooting you, and yeah, it's annoying. But no, it's a really nice game. Definitely one to pick up, and not one that I really see a lot of people talking about. If you're a scrolling beat 'em up fan like myself, go and grab it. It's worth the money. I am aiming to get as many scrolling beat 'em ups as I can because I just love them. So next one we got Jim Power in the Lost Dimension. This is a game that I had on the Amiga as a kid, so I really wanted to try the Super Nintendo version. It is a lot of fun. It's a 2D platformer. I believe it's called parallax scrolling. I don't know much about technical sides of games. I don't really get involved in all that, but basically where the background and the foreground move, like they slide against each other, and it gives like a really cool, like weird 3D effect. Very nice. It's a really nice game, and this game is actually a 3D game, so you do get a pair of 3D glasses, which I have got. You see, this doesn't get listed very often. It's getting listed more often since I bought it recently, but I still don't see them with the 3D glasses. Now I purchased this with a pair of 3D glasses in the box, the proper ones. They're actually marked, so you know they are legitimate. They go with the game. And the seller I bought it off also had about 13 extra pairs that he got from Nintendo back in the day. And I've got those as well. I purchased them off him. So I got about 14, I'm sure about 13. So it's about, yeah, I've got about 14, 15 pairs of 3D glasses for this game, which is ridiculous. I mean, I could sell the extra glasses on separately, I'm sure I could, but I don't want to. But brilliant game. Check out my gameplay on my channel. It's really good. Tough little platformer, but a hell of a lot of fun. So next one we got Jimmy Connor's Pro Tennis Tour. I got this as a gift as well from a fellow YouTuber, which was absolutely brilliant. Really, really good tennis game actually, this one. I did a gameplay video a while back where I compared this with Super Tennis, and I really like this. I think they did a cracking job on it. Super Tennis is good, but I think this is better in my opinion. It just feels really good the way they've designed it. It's a tennis game. There isn't a lot that I can really tell you other than that. All I'd say is really check out my gameplay and see what you think of it if you like tennis games. You know, I mean, sports games back then were a lot better than what they are now. Nowadays they're too much of a simulation. They're a lot more fun back in the old days, I think. Back in the old days. Back in the 16-bit era. Right, next up is a really cool platformer, and that is a Joe Mac 2 Lost in the Tropics. For some reason, extremely difficult to get. I don't know why that is. You just don't see this one around at all. I picked this up a few months ago, and it's the first time I'd ever seen it listed, which was really weird, because generally when games are hard to find, you may see 1 or 2 copies a year, but no, I've never seen this one listed until I purchased it, and I've only seen like 1 or 2 since then, and they weren't anywhere near as good a condition as this, and one of them I don't think was complete anyway. I think it was missing the manual. Yeah, really nice, bright, colourful caveman platform game. I've got a gameplay on my channel, so if you want to check that out, please do. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. Yeah, it's not bad actually. It's a pretty decent little game. If you've never played a Joe Mac game, I don't know how to explain it other than you're basically a caveman and you're just jumping around platforms, beating up dinosaurs. It's fun. Right, next one is an absolute classic SNES game, and one I absolutely adore. I'm not very good at it, but I love it. Killer Instinct. Absolutely stunning one-on-one fighter. All about the combos, the multiple hit combos. It's just ridiculous. I mean, when you watch people play this game who are really good at it and know how to do the combinations, it's a really, really impressive thing to see. Especially when they do the combos where they beat the hell out of someone, they throw them up in the air and they catch them as they come down and continue the combo. I mean, it's just unreal. Some of the coolest music in a game ever. It's just an absolute demon. Another game by Rare, quality. As you can see on the front there, it's got the Killer Cuts music CD included inside, and my copy has got that. I've got that sealed. I've never opened it, which is good because a lot of the time now I'm seeing Killer Instinct listed. I don't have the CD for some reason, so I don't know why people are losing that. So I'm quite happy to have that in my collection. It's just a real shame Killer Instinct 2 never got it on the SNES. As far as I'm aware, Killer Instinct Gold on the N64 is a port of Killer Instinct 2. Killer Instinct 2 is really cool, but this is a brilliant game. I mean, the speech alone just sticks in my mind, and the music, oh man, excellent game. So, next up we have King of Dragons by Capcom, another scrolling platform game, sort of fantasy scrolling beat 'em up. Did I say platform? I'm a twat, am I? Scrolling beat 'em up game, fantasy, as I say, like wizards and warlocks and God knows what. You know, little dude there looks like Robin Hood. It's a tough little game actually. It's not an easy game at all. It's very Golden Axe-esque in my opinion. It's a lot of fun and some really nice level design and a bit different. Not a cheap game by any standards. You're looking at least $80 for a copy in this condition. So yeah, it's not a cheap game, but it's a lot of fun, and it's Capcom, and it's worthwhile getting. I mean, look at the artwork; it's just beautiful. I've also got a gameplay if you want to check that out as well. Next one we've got another game that's really tough to find. A game called Legend by is that Seeker? I don't know how you pronounce that. Another scrolling beam up with massive sprites, really cool music and nice graphics. It's a dude with a big sword like Conan. Basically, that's all you need to do. You're Conan. Walk around the level, chopping people up. It's quality. It's a really, really good game, and it was bloody hard for me to find this. It took me a while, and I'm still not seeing that many box copies getting listed in decent condition, or even box copies in general. I got this from a guy in, where was he now? Was he in the Netherlands? Or was he in Germany? I think he might have been a guy in Germany, I can't really remember. Which was good because the price I paid for it, it saved me paying import tax because it's in Europe, which is excellent. Excellent game. Got a gameplay on my channel if you want to check it out, so yeah, please take a look. It's just absolutely stunning game. Next one up is a game that I picked up a while ago now. Mario Mallard in Cold Shadow. It's a Donald Duck game. It's a game that I didn't know much about. I'd just seen a quick gameplay on YouTube, thought it looked cool, thought I'd pick it up. Really, really, really impressive Disney game, this one. I mean, my God, the graphics are absolutely amazing. The animations, when he does the transformations and he changes clothes and outfits, and obviously that's the same thing, but this game is beautiful. It really is impressive. The rain effects are just stunning on it. And you basically play as Donald Duck, when he made a Hawaiian shirt, platforming, shooting things. You change it to a ninja, as you can see on the picture there, and you get that big staff, and you can use that to traverse the level. So you can like use the staff between two walls to climb up. It's absolutely excellent. It's such a fun game. Alright, next one. Now this is one I haven't actually played, which is a rarity for me. But this is a game called Metal Morph. And I don't know if you can see, it is actually still sealed. I still haven't got, it's even got the hang tab on the back as well. Look. I still haven't got around to playing it yet. And the screenshots make it look a bit weird. The reason I picked this all up, I saw a gameplay on YouTube again, and it looked interesting. It basically, the back of the game there shows you the space sections with the ships, but the bit that I saw on the gameplay looked really interesting was that you play as the guy on the front there, and as he's called Metal Morph, he morphs. So you can traverse a level by morphing into like a liquid, and you know, you can get through gaps and you can go through pipes and to get further in there, and then you change back into the bloke. I really need to put it on, just play it and try it out. But I've had it for like a few months now, and because I've been picking other games up that have interested me, I've really kind of sidelined this one. So I definitely need to get stuck in and try it out. I think that's the only sealed game I've got now, because I don't keep them sealed. I always unwrap them, because what's the point of buying games that are sealed if you're not going to play them? Buy them if they're cheap and they're sealed, because obviously you get them in the best condition, but to buy them sealed to keep, I just don't get that. Next one up is a game that everyone knows, classic game apparently. I say apparently because I'm not a fan of the series, but it's Mega Man X. Really, really fun title. I never had an NES as a kid, never been a fan of the NES, so Mega Man doesn't mean anything to me. It's not a franchise I'm overly familiar with or a massive fan of. But I always wanted to try this one because it looked really cool. The only game I ever played as a kid was Mega Man 2 because my friend had an NES, and I really enjoyed that. It's bloody hard, but great fun game. This one's excellent. It's got a massive Mega Man sprite. It kicks your ass proper. Beautiful graphics, beautiful sound, excellent game. I would like to get Mega Man X 2 and 3, but because they're so expensive, and I'm not a big fan of the series, it would literally just be buying them to play and to have as part of the collection. So I've got the trilogy, possibly maybe a little bit of financial as well. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I don't buy games for the financial aspect, but you know, you're a liar if you say it isn't part of it, because it is. It all, you know, at the end of the day, it's nice to know you have this collection of games that are worth a fair bit of money. But Mega Man X is a really fun game. It's just bloody hard, especially as for someone like myself who's not a Mega Man fan. I haven't got a lot of experience with the series, so I do tend to get battered quite a lot on it. Next one, we got another Sony Image Soft game, Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mania, The Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. This one is immaculate because I bought this brand new and sealed for $20, which was like £12 at the time, which was an absolute steal. Yeah, really, really nice game. You start off on the steamboat, really level. It's all black and white. Then it transitions to colour. It's an absolutely gorgeous game. If you like Mickey Mouse, you like Disney, you like platformers, you can't really go wrong with this. It's an absolutely stunning game. Next up, we've got a game that everyone knows, Mortal Kombat Competition Edition. Yeah, divisive game in the fact that the Mega Drive version is better because it's got blood. I would say, me personally, it depends on your opinion as to what you think is closer to the arcade and what kind of graphic style you like. I prefer the graphics of the Super Nintendo, but the Mega Drive is better because you get the blood. So if they could combine the two, it would have been absolutely fantastic. For me, the Super Nintendo really captured that, the arcade style, the way, I'm trying to think what the word is now. I can't think what it is, but the way they captured like real human beings, mocap, like that kind of thing, basically. So it was like one of these early games when they were doing that, and they were using real people instead of using just creating animated characters. And I think the Super Nintendo version looks a lot closer to the arcade in that respect, where the Mega Drive looks like a normal video game, if that makes any sense. But the Mega Drive wins because it's got blood. Nintendo really screwed up in Mortal Kombat. Still a great game though, still a lot of fun. It's bloody hard though. I always found Mortal Kombat to be really difficult. I tend to just sit on my ass quite a lot because I can't move fast enough and pull the moves off, and I just get hit. So then we got Mortal Kombat 2, which is better because it has got blood. Also probably a better game than the first one. The first one's pretty basic compared to the sequel. They put more characters in, they really up the game. You know, graphically it looks better. So there's a lot more moves, it's a lot more fun to play. It's just extremely difficult. I mean, I just cannot play this game at all. As I say, with Mortal Kombat, I find it hard. I just get hit and hit and hit. And I just find I'm trying to work out the moves and I'm just getting knocked over, and it's just frustrating. But it is a hell of a lot of fun though. So this is the most recent game I've picked up. I just picked it up a couple of days ago. And it is s.n.e.s, another extremely tough game to get on the Super Nintendo. And when you go by buy now prices, not a bloody cheap one, because people keep asking stupid money for it. Don't know why. I got extremely lucky. I won this on auction recently for £40. Well, £39, but yeah, 40 quid. I was really chuffed to pick this up. It's brilliant. I've just put a gameplay up on my channel of this one if you want to check it out. It's absolutely stunning. Really, really cute, really colourful, fun platformer. It is, considering, you know, the amount of platformers that are on the 16-bit consoles and the Super Nintendo in particular, it doesn't really stack up, I don't think, against like the big guns like Mario. But it's a really fun game. I'm really glad I've got it in my collection. I wanted it for so long. To finally actually have it in my collection is awesome. Because I honestly was getting to the point where I didn't think I was going to be able to buy this game. I thought I'm either never going to find a decent box copy, or if I do, I'm going to end up spending like 150 quid or something stupid on it, and I really cannot justify that kind of money. So when I got it cheap, I was blown away. It isn't the best of condition. As I said in the video when I got it, I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10, and that is probably being a bit generous. It's probably more of a 6. But then I am paranoid about condition. But the main thing is I've got it and I'm happy. So the next one up, guys, is another game I haven't actually played yet. I played the game, I've just never played the Super Nintendo version. I don't even know why I haven't played this yet, but this is Out of This World, or to the UK people, it's known as Another World, as I'm sure you all know. I had this on the Amiga as a kid, and it blew my bloody socks off when it came out on the Amiga. I remember playing this with my cousin, and we just couldn't believe it. It's such an impressive game. Made by Delphine. It's got interplay there, so I don't know if it was different for the SNES. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, they're a French company. And it really was like one of the very first interactive movie games. Like, games nowadays, pretty much everything is an interactive movie. When you play something like Uncharted, you know, but this was so cool. The cutscenes were just ridiculous on it. I mean, it absolutely blew me away. And it's I don't really understand how to explain it. It's sort of like a platformer stroke action game stroke interactive film. It's a really strange one, but it's a really cool game, and I'm really need to put it on actually just to see what it's like on the SNES, see how it stacks up against the Amiga version, because the Amiga version was absolutely bloody brilliant. Yeah, the first level, you're on a wasteland, and you run across the level, and you come across this massive black beast, which I'm assuming is what that's supposed to be on the front there with the big teeth. He chases you. You manage to run away and escape him, which is not an easy task when you're playing the game, actually. If you don't get it right with the timing, you get screwed, and he jumps on you and mauls you. But if you do manage to do it, you run to the right-hand side of the screen, and these two dudes turn up in like black cloaks and hoods, and you fall over, like the classic movie style. He falls over, and he's like knees up in the air, his hands on the floor, and he's like, oh God, what's going to happen? And then the beast comes up behind him, and they zap it with a laser gun, and then they zap you, and then you end up in a cage with this weird alien. It's a really strange game, but it's absolutely brilliant and definitely worth playing. I really need to play it on the SNES and see how it stacks up. I'm looking at the back screenshots, and actually it does look pretty bloody good. I don't know why I haven't actually got around to plugging that in yet. Next up, another classic Nintendo title, Pilot Wings. I don't even know how to explain what Pilot Wings is, really. I mean, people who know what Pilot Wings is will know what the game is, but it's on the 3DS now, so anyone who's never played a Super Nintendo version will know what it is. It's sort of like challenges, I suppose, is one way you can look at it. You get to like do hang gliding, and I can't think what else. It's been that long since I did it. Was there skydiving in the SNES version? I can't remember. Yeah, and it's all like time stuff and point building. But it's a good game, and it's a good use of the Mode 7 as well, so it makes the Super Nintendo look really cool. I need to put it on now again, because I did, when I first got this, oh gosh, a couple of years ago now, I did play it, and I was like, no, not as good as I remember it being. But after playing the 3DS version, it may be a little bit better, because I can get the hang of it. Next up, we got Phantom 2040 platform game, and the box is knackered, and I'll explain what happened to the box. And I was quite gutted about this. This game is extremely, I mean, no bullshit. This is extremely difficult to get a box for the Super Nintendo. I don't know why. Maybe in the real world it isn't hard to get, but on eBay it doesn't get listed. I got this recently, dirt cheap, for $15. It was like £9. Now, it's a really great game. First of all, cracking platformer, graphics are awesome, music's awesome, the gameplay is stunning. Definitely worth picking up and playing. I knackered the box myself. My fault. Stupid. Thank God it only cost me £9. Basically, with Super Nintendo, from what I've read online over the years, you have the first release games, which are the ones that were made in Japan. You have the second release of certain games, such as Super Castlevania 4 for 1, which will have on the back, assembled in Mexico, which, as far as I'm aware, they were shipped over to Mexico, and then Majesco made them up, and they're inferior quality, so I don't buy those. And then you have the later games, which were made in Mexico instead of assembled in Mexico. Now, this is a made in Mexico game, and the cardboard they used in the box was obviously shite, because this game had stickers on the box. Now, in the past, with games like Mario All-Stars, I've held the box over a steaming kettle and steamed the sticker off, no problem at all, hasn't damaged the box at all. I did it to this one, and you can see the results. It knackered the box up. So, not a happy bunny. So, it's devalued it, but then again, it only cost me £9, so not too bad. But, as I say, it just doesn't get listed at all, boxed, and I don't know why. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. I wish I'd left it alone now and I hadn't tried to take the stickers off. I just never touched it, but that's my OCD for you. So, hopefully in the future, even if it takes years, somebody will list another box copy and I can buy it. I just hope they don't list it for like $100 or something stupid. But it is a brilliant game though. Anyway, nonetheless, play the game, it's awesome. Okay, one more game that I haven't played yet, which is pretty bad of me, I should have. Oh no, it's not. It's not the one I thought it was. I was looking at the wrong game. Oh, right, okay. It's Pinocchio, Disney Pinocchio. I bought this sealed, so this is why it's immaculate. This is really cool. It's completely weird and different and strange. Check out my gameplay and you'll see my reaction to it. It's an odd game. I thought it was going to be a standard Disney platformer, but it's not. It's really, I don't even know how to explain it. It's not a platformer. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's got like quick time moments in it, which is beyond my mind as to why that is. I mean, I didn't even know it did that back in the day. But you have to make Pinocchio dance, and it is just random. But it is. The graphics and the animation are absolutely up there, the top of the line. They're absolutely quality. Definitely worth playing. And Shen Muso did a gameplay for me of the Mega Drive version, which he never published. He just put it on there for me to have a look at. And I was absolutely shocked how good the Mega Drive version was. No disrespect to Mega Drive owners, because I'm not saying the Mega Drive's crap, because it isn't. It's just that usually a lot of the Mega Drive games are a lot... How do I put it? Like, if you look at games like Ghouls and Ghosts, the Mega Drive version looked quite muddy and blurry, whereas the Super Nintendo is ultra glossy, like a lot of the Super Nintendo games are. Pinocchio, there isn't a lot between them. I think it's really difficult to distinguish which one was which if you put them side by side. The Mega Drive version is really impressive graphically. It's so close to the s.n.e.s version, I was actually quite shocked. And it's a really good game. It's just the first level's a pain in the arse because you're wandering around and you're trying to find your way out of the level. And I got a little frustrated, and so did Ben when he was trying to do it. And it's sort of like, yeah, but once you do it and you get to the Jiminy Cricket level, that is really impressive. So yeah, please, if you've never seen my video, check out the gameplay of Pinocchio because it's really cool. Alright, a total stinker next. A game I love, but the s.n.e.s version is absolutely horrendous. Pit Fighter. I'm pretty sure I bought this one sealed as well. Yeah, this is a real shame. It really is. Everybody dumps on Pit Fighter and says it's crap. I love Pit Fighter, mainly because as a kid I used to play it all the time in the arcades. I've talked about this loads of times, but the one time I was on holiday... Okay, sorry about that guys, the battery seemed to die on me there. Typical, right in the mid-flow. But yeah, as I was saying, I used to play this all the time in the arcades. I was a massive fan of Pit Fighter. And there was a time when I went on a family holiday, me and my cousin spent the whole night playing this in the arcades, pumping our pound coins in there and finished the game. I absolutely love Pit Fighter. It's just an absolutely brilliant, fun, violent game. You can smack people over the head with barrels, you can stab them, you can throw ninja stars at them, you can get a power-up pill which makes you absolutely mental and you start glowing. It's just a quality title. Unfortunately, the Super Nintendo version, it's absolute shite. I don't understand how they ruined it. They could have quite easily used Mode 7 to do the scaling in and out and made the game absolutely stunning. And they made a complete arse of it. I don't know what happened, but oh my god, it's a mess. It's horrendous. It plays badly, it looks bad, it sounds bad. It's just an absolute mess of a game. The Mega Drive version is absolutely brilliant. You know, it's kind of frustrating. So I'm going to have to get it on the Genesis again because it is absolutely quality. But the Super Nintendo version is shit. And it's quite disappointing for a big fan of Pit Fighter like myself. Next one we got Power Moves. Not very good. Very budget one-on-one fighter. The artwork alone says that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's pretty crap. Another game that I've not had a chance to play yet. I don't know if I need a mouse for this actually, I might do. A game called Populous, which was another gift from a fellow YouTuber, which is absolutely awesome. In lovely condition. Yeah, I remember playing this on the PC years ago. I've never been a massive PC gamer, but there was a period in time when it was the time when Wolfenstein and Doom were big, and I was playing that, and I was playing Populous and some of the God Sim games, which is weird because it's not the kind of thing I'd normally play, but I really enjoyed them back then. yeah, so I haven't had a chance to play it on the SNES yet, but I'm sure it's cool. I just don't know if you have to use a mouse or you can use a controller. Don't understand how it would work for a controller, but I don't know. I'll have to give it a try and we'll find out anyway. Right, okay, so I'm just going to move the camera over so we can do the other shelf. Won't be a moment. Okay guys, welcome back. So, on to the next set of shelves. And the first game up is Prince of Persia by Konami. Yeah, what can you say? I think most gamers have played Prince of Persia in one form or another on many multiple different systems. It's just an absolutely superb title. This one stuck in my mind as a kid, and as I was growing up I wanted to get this in the collection because when it came out I was really impressed. They really upgraded the Super Nintendo version. They did a really nice job on the graphics to give the guy a turban. And they just, I don't know why that's always such a big thing for me, but the fact that they put a turban on the guy was just really cool. They just really did a nice job. And I got a gameplay of this on my channel as well. If you've never played Prince of Persia, it is a platform game set in like a dungeon sort of environment, and you get to do sword fighting. It's very Arabian. It's a fantastic title. Definitely worth owning. You know, whether you own it on the PC, you own it on the Super Nintendo, or any of the other multiple systems. In fact, I'm pretty certain not long ago, a while ago now, they brought it out on Xbox Live Arcade, and I'm not entirely certain if it's on PlayStation Network. It probably is. And they totally upgraded it, HD'd it, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. That's a brilliant game. Next up is the one that eluded me for a long time, mainly down to Crash Test Gaming 8-bitting me, bastard. Only kidding, Mitch. But yeah, R-Type 3, wow, absolutely wow. It's a stunning shooter. Horizontal, R-Type classic, balls to the wall. They basically just went all out with this one, and they just used so many graphical effects, and it's just got beautiful visuals, absolutely amazing audio. It's really tough. It's not an easy game at all, but my god, it's fun. It's just bloody brilliant. Not a cheap game by any means at all. You're talking 50-60 quid for a US copy in this condition, but it's worth every single penny of that money. It's absolutely brilliant. Even the Japanese one isn't cheap either. But if you're a Super Nintendo fan and you're a horizontal shooter fan, you have to buy R-Type 3. It is bloody fantastic. I've also got a gameplay of that on my channel if you'd like to see that. Another one I picked up recently, due to my good friend Alex, BlueTonic78, and this is Realm. Game I'd never heard of until Blue Tonic did a gameplay of it, and I had no idea what it was when he went to do it. And I watched his gameplay and I was like, I've got to have that. It's really cool. If you check out my gameplay, if you're a big fan of the Amiga, you'll like this game because it's very much an Amiga type game. It's just great. The music is absolutely stunning. The lighting effects are just unreal on the game. It's just a shitload of fun. It's really good. It's tough, but basically it's puzzle platforming, and it's just a great game. So next up we have the first Rival Turf game, with possibly the worst artwork of any game I own. In fact, it is the worst artwork of any game I own. It's bloody terrible. What were they thinking, honestly? Yeah, it does have a bad reputation, and rightly so, because it is a pretty piss poor scrolling beat 'em up. But I don't know what it is. There's just something about it that I really enjoy. Every time I play it, I just love it. It's just really basic, lacking a lot of what makes scrolling beat 'em ups fun. But it just captures me. I don't know. It just draws me in every time I play it. It's a brilliant game. So then we have a big one, big beefy case, RoboCop versus Terminator, in a rock solid plastic case. It's insane. Super embossed Super Nintendo logo, very nice. Really cool game. Basically plays RoboCop fighting a Terminator, running around gunning stuff down. Visually very nice, really fun game. I want to get the Genesis version because I've heard from so many people that the Mega Drive Genesis version is far superior. The gameplays I've seen is just like loads of clout flying everywhere, so yeah, it does look a lot better. The Super Nintendo version is like a lot of these games were on the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive, and it's not always the case, but the majority of the time I'm finding that the Mega Drive versions are better because they're more true to video games, where the SNES versions are too over glossy. The Mega Drive versions are just gritty and raw, and I like that. Next one is an interesting little platformer from Irem called Rocky Rodent. It's alright, it's not too bad. It's not brilliant, it's not bad, it's just an average platform game. Nice little bit of artwork. It's okay. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just an alright game. I've seen people listing this for stupid prices lately. I don't know why. I paid about £5-6 for it or something. To be fair, I did get a deal from a fellow YouTuber who was selling a lot of games at the time, and I bought a bulk of games off him, so I did get a really good price on it. But yeah, it's alright. This is a really great game. I love this game. Run Saber from Atlas, absolutely fantastic. I mean, everybody sees this as a Strider ripoff, and yeah, I can understand that. But I can't remember exactly because it's been a while since I played it. But if you watch my gameplay, I'll tell you all the different references when I first played the game, and I was like, oh, it looks like this, it looks like that. It seems to have a lot of influence from a lot of different games, but it's a really, really, really fun game. It's extremely short. I believe there's like 5 levels, if I remember rightly. I've made it through to the end, but I couldn't kill the last boss. I ran out of bleeding continues and died, which is kind of frustrating. A bit like Final Fight 2 in that respect. But no, it's really cool. It's a really interesting art style. The music is absolutely stunning on it. It plays really well. Really good controls. It's just a little short. That's the only thing, really. And I've seen a lot of people say that. That's the only thing that lets it down, because it's a really quality game. So if you're into like your stridery platform type games, then I'll definitely pick this one up. Not an easy one to get, by the way, especially boxed mint. It's not an easy one to get, and it ain't bloody cheap either. Next one we've got is Samurai Showdown, another Neo Geo game, 32 meg. Oh yes. Really, really, actually quite an impressive Neo Geo downgrade for the SNES, this one. Not a big fan of the Samurai Showdown games myself, but I wanted to try this out to see what it was like. It's quite fun. I mean, if you don't know what it is, it's basically Street Fighter one-on-one fighting with swords. It don't get better than that, does it? But no, it's alright. It's a pretty fun game, and it's not a bad version at all. I mean, you know, I was quite impressed actually with these Neo Geo games. They did quite a good job back in the day, dropping them down on the end onto the Super Nintendo. So then we have Skulljagger, which is a pirate platform game. It's a really weird one. I've never seen that many people. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about this in the community. What's it called? Skulljagger Revolt of the Westicade. Westicans, so Revolt of the Westicans. I can't read. Very good. I ain't got my glasses on. Yeah, it's alright. It's actually pretty cool. I got this in the bundle with Rocky Road and some others, and it's a pretty interesting game. I'll have to do a gameplay actually. I don't know if I've ever done one. I can't remember. I'll check my channel. If I haven't, I'll do a gameplay and show you what it's like, because it's hard to explain. But it's a pretty cool little game. So next up we got an absolute classic, one of the best games ever released, Street Fighter 2. Yeah, can't really say anything, can I? It's just brilliant. Everybody knows what Street Fighter 2 is. For me personally, they've never bettered Street Fighter 2. The Street Fighter 3 games were more tactical, and it wasn't really my kind of style. Street Fighter 4 is good. The acting annoys the shit out of me, so it's good that you can change to the Japanese, because the actors they used were chronic. I don't like any of the new characters they put in Street Fighter 4. I thought they were shit. They were badly designed. They just don't fit in the Street Fighter universe for me. They're just lazy. This is the best Street Fighter. End of. This is when Street Fighter was really, really quality. The best characters, the best music, the sound effects, the moves, just everything is perfection when it comes to Street Fighter 2. So next up we have my favourite Street Fighter game. And that is a Street Fighter 2 Turbo, where the game's faster, you can play as the bosses, and you get different outfits. It is an absolutely stunning game. It's bloody brilliant. Even to this day, I still play this regularly, and I never get bored of it. It's just an absolutely stunning fighter. I'm not a massive fighting fan, like one-on-one fighter, but I can play Street Fighter all day long and never get bored. It's just quality. So then we have the next one along, which was Super Street Fighter 2. This one is the worst one of the 4 games that were released on the Super Nintendo, in my opinion. Mainly because, for some reason, they made the music and the sound effects absolutely chronic. The sound effects just sound terrible. The first 2 games, Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Turbo, had real good bass and real crunch to the sound effects. This one, they're just tinny and terrible. But they did introduce new characters, and this is the difference between this and Street Fighter 4. In this one, you got Cammy, you got Fei Long, you got T-Hawk, you got DJ. Really cool characters that actually made sense in the universe of Street Fighter to me, and they actually work really well, and they're fun to play with. The ones in Street Fighter 4 are just terrible. And then we have the 4th game, which is Street Fighter Alpha 2. a really impressive technical feat on the Super Nintendo. I don't know how they managed to squeeze it all on a cartridge, but it's really cool. It does freeze every time you start a level, and that's not a problem in the game. It's just the way it's designed. I don't know if it's doing loading or what. I don't know how you load on a cartridge, but maybe that's what it's doing. Yeah, excellent game. I've got a gameplay on my channel. I've played the Saturn version, which is everyone says is better. There ain't a lot between them, I don't think. I mean, fair enough, on the Saturn it's a lot smoother and it loads and you don't have to freeze and everything, but I don't know, I don't care, man. For the Super Nintendo, to pull this off is really impressive. So next one up is Super Bomberman 2. I love Bomberman games. I mean, if you've never played a Bomberman game, it's basically a grid-based game where you have blocks, and the objective is to blow the blocks out with bombs and to take down your enemies, and the last one standing wins. It's a brilliant game. It does use the multi-tap as well, so you know, if you've got mates around, you can have a load of you playing it at once. Bomberman, it just never gets old. There's loads of Bomberman games available, and they're absolutely brilliant. From what I've been reading as well, on the Super Nintendo, in America they only got Bomberman 1, Bomberman 2. In the UK they got Bomberman 3, and in Japan I've seen about 5 Bomberman games so far. So I will try and get all 5 because that'd be quite interesting to try out, see what the differences are. Love this next game. I got this recently. Super Buster Brothers, or Super Pang as we know it in the UK. Absolutely brilliant game. Got a gameplay on my channel, please check it out because it's just an awesome game. The idea is that you have a character at the bottom of the screen with a gun, and there's balloons or bubbles or whatever they're supposed to be, big balls, we'll put it that way. And you shoot the balls and they split into 2, and the more you shoot them the more they split, and you have to survive the level and not get hit by them, and when you've destroyed all of the balls you progress on to the next level, and it gets tougher and tougher as it goes. It's an absolutely brilliant game. I've always been a fan of that. Next up, one of my all-time favourite Super Nintendo games, Super Castlevania 4. Oh my god, this game is absolutely awesome. It really is brilliant. I never, as I said, never had an NES as a kid, so I never played Castlevania 1, 2 and 3. So the first time I ever played Castlevania was this, and it blew my bloody socks off, and to this day it's still an absolutely brilliant game. It's without doubt some of my favourite Super Nintendo music. It's just amazing. My favourite level is the one in the cave with the rock people. The music on that level is just so haunting and so brilliantly executed. I swear the person who scored this game is a genius. It's just absolutely fantastic. The graphics are a bit weird in this game because the first couple of levels are alright, and then it gets better and better as it goes along. And especially the cave level, it looks awesome. But the gameplay is fantastic. I mean, I've seen all the other Castlevania games, and I played Dracula X because I used to have the Japanese version of that, which I sold. The reason being I want to try and get a US copy, which is not going to be easy, and it's definitely not going to be cheap. But yeah, Dracula X, I like it, but it annoys me because you can only fire your whip in one direction, straight ahead. On this one, I don't know why they went backwards with Dracula X, why they didn't carry on like this. You can do multi-directional whippage, so you can do up, down, left and right, all 4 diagonals. You can hold the button down and his whip will go limp, and you can swirl it around and twat people below you and above you. It's brilliant. You can moonwalk upstairs. I mean, this game is absolute quality. And look at that artwork. I mean, that is just fantastic. One of the best Super Nintendo games by far. Next up is the fantastic fighting game, scrolling beat 'em up, Double Dragon, or Super Double Dragon, because everything was super on the Super Nintendo for some reason. It's a bit like now with the Wii U, everything's got a bloody U on it. But yeah, it's really, really awesome game. It took a bit of getting used to this one because you have to learn how to do the combat, because it's not about just running around and beating people up and punching them in the face. You have to learn to use your block and to be tactical. It's not a straightforward fight, because if you don't block, you just get your ass kicked. Really fun game. I got really far into this. Haven't completed it yet, but I can't remember what level I got to, but I got bloody far into it, and then I died, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I really want to try this on 2 player, so I need to get someone around to try it out with because it's excellent. Then we have another classic, extremely difficult game, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. My god, this game is ridiculously hard. I've never got off level 1. It's just too damn difficult. Basically, you play as Arthur. You run around, throwing your lances. I think that's what you call them, and twatting zombies and enemies and ghouls and ghosts and Christ and goblins and God knows what else, and birds. It's just so hectic, so intense, difficult as hell, but it's a brilliant game. It looks absolutely stunning, and the music and the Mode 7 effects, it's just a quality title for the SNES. It's just so bloody hard. And when you watch someone like my good friend LMA187, I mean, that dude can play this game well. He's been playing it for years, mine, but I watched him do a playthrough of it, and he made it look so easy, and it really isn't. It's a tough game. Well worth owning, that's brilliant. Right, next up we've got one of my favourite SNES games, well, compilation of games, Super Mario All-Stars. So you've got Super Mario, Super Mario 2, or Super Mario 3, and also the Lost Levels, which, as many people always say on these videos, Lost Levels is basically, as far as I'm aware, the Japanese version of Super Mario 2, and the Super Mario 2 that we got was another game called Doki Doki Panic, which was reskinned as Mario. Let's get that out of the way. Anyway, bit of a history lesson. Anyway, absolutely brilliant. They basically took all the NES games, upgraded them to 16-bit. They look great, they sound great, they play brilliantly. It's Mario. You can't go wrong. If you like Mario games, you're going to love this. And I love Mario. He's brilliant. One of my absolute all-time classic games on any system, Mario Kart. Absolutely bloody love this. Other than the Game Boy Advance game, Super Circuit, I've said it many a time, I know I have, but this is the best Super Mario Kart in my opinion. I just never found that any of the games that have come out since have ever really captured what this one does. It's just everything about this game, the Mode 7, the gameplay, the controls, the music, the sound effects, the battle mode on 2-player with the balloons is just absolutely awesome. But the game is just perfection in every way. They never put a foot wrong with this title. And you have to own this if you own a Super Nintendo. It's just one of the must-have games. If you're new to the Super Nintendo, maybe you're younger than me, and you're trying to learn about the history of gaming, and you want to try the old systems, go and buy this game. It's fantastic. You'll have so much fun with you and your mates. It's absolutely brilliant. Another absolute classic, Mario World. Said it many a time, I'm very chuffed to have this in my collection, because for a hell of a long time, for about 5 years, I couldn't get this bloody thing. It was so difficult to get. Now it just comes up all the time, but it's still really expensive. I don't quite understand what was going on with this game as to why it commands such a price, but it does. Yeah, absolutely bloody brilliant. First time I ever saw this playing, I was just absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The whole mechanic with Yoshi was just quality, but they just got it so right with this game. The level design, the music is absolutely iconic, the graphics look fantastic, the Mode 7's there, you've got Yoshi introduced, you've got the cake to fly with. The game is just fantastic. It really is an absolute masterpiece in gameplay, game design. It's just awesome. So next up we have Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Absolutely brilliant game. I'd never played this. I had the Japanese version years ago, never got around to playing it, which is really bad, and then I sold my collection. So when I got this on the US version, I wanted to try it out, and it's absolutely brilliant. The only thing that annoys me is the music's repetitive, because it's just the same bloody tune constantly, and the whining Mario baby makes me want to punch the TV. It's really irritating. But the game is fantastic. I am still stuck on this one level. I just can't work out how to get off the level, and it's really frustrating. I need to remember, I have to go on it and find out what the level is and tell you all, so someone can tell me how to do it, because it's really annoying. Because I was having so much fun playing the game, and then I got stuck and I can't get past it. But yeah, it's a really interesting art style as well. It's completely and utterly different to Mario World. It's really cool. Next one of the game I know a lot of people love, Super Metroid. Now, me personally, as I say, I never had an NES, so I've got no history of Metroid. I don't know anything about this going into it. The only Metroid experience I've had is GameCube games. And honestly, I can't really get into this. I've tried to play it, but there's too much back and forward. You constantly go here, then go back there, then go over there, and come back here, and it's like, oh, I just can't be arsed. I thought it was a platform game. I didn't realise it was going to be like that, and it doesn't do it for me at all. I will give it another try and get somewhere, but because I know I'm going to get a lot of people coming onto this video randomly and going, "What are you on about? Super Metroid is one of the greatest games ever made." Blah 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 blah. And yeah, maybe it is, but to me, as I've never played it until I bought it a few months back, it doesn't really blow my mind. But maybe it will in the future. Maybe I'll change my opinion. Who knows? But at the moment, it ain't doing it for me. Next up is Super Off-Road. Really cool figure of 8 top-down racing game. Pretty tough. You get turbos as well to help you get around. Quality game. I remember this in the arcades as a kid, so had to get this. It's just absolutely excellent. Next up is, if you know me, you know this is one of my favourite games, and it is Star Fox. Absolutely stunning game. I love this title. It's just so much fun. I mean, I can play this so many times and never get bored of it. The music is absolutely awesome. The graphics are just ridiculous. I mean, the Super Effects chip was just unreal at the time. When I saw this running on the SNES in the back in the 90s, I was just like, how the hell are they doing that? It was just insane. Yeah, and only completed it for the first time ever was like last year or the year before. I can't remember. I got a video where I went on camera and I was like, I finally did it. I was so chuffed with myself. But it's just an absolutely stellar game. One you just have to experience. I mean, I don't know if maybe if you're younger than me, you'd probably appreciate it as much as you might think, oh Christ, look at the 3D on that. But it really is an impressive title. Then I have a game that I was trying to get for a long time. Really excited to have it in my collection. I'm so glad I've got it. And it is Star Fox 2. And this is Star Fox 2, the Doom edition. This is a reproduction of a game that was never released. Most people will know that, but if you don't, you do now. This was basically, I purchased this from a company called Time Warp Games who make reproduction games. So they created the box design, which I think they did a great job on. Looks awesome. And it's the Doom edition because they used the Super Nintendo Doom cartridge, the game Doom, because it has the Super Effects 2 chip in as far as I'm aware. And that way it makes the game smoother and you don't get so much slowdown. So you don't really see that many of the Doom editions lying around. I've noticed most people seem to sell on eBay the standard edition. And this game, it cost me about 60 quid, so it isn't cheap. But as it was never released, it's worthwhile. And it's not very long because the game wasn't completed as far as I'm aware. So a couple of years ago, as far as from what I've read anyway, a couple of people put an ending to the game, so you do get credits at the end of the game, but it's not truly finished. But it's interesting to play it because they took a totally different path with this, and it's nothing like Star Fox at all. It was more of a strategy sort of angle to it. You get morphing machines, morphing planes that turn into like mechs. It's really interesting where they were going with it, and I think had they managed to complete the game and they had released it instead of just shelving it to go and do Star Fox 64 or Lilac Wars for the N64, it would have been really cool. But nonetheless, I'm glad to have what is available on a cartridge so I can play it on my SNES and just show you the back as well what they did. I mean, Time Warp Games did a great job on the artwork. They really do a nice job on the design. So yeah, I'm very happy to have that in the collection. So the next one we got is a shooter called Supernova, which is not an easy one to find. It seems to be getting listed a bit more now, but it's still pretty difficult to get and commands a decent price. Yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad. I can't, to be honest, I can't even remember that much about it since the last time I played it. So look, oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, it was alright, it wasn't too bad. It was, yeah, that's a bit crap in it, it's not there. Look at that. It's lacking on the back there, isn't it? They could have done with more detail. But it was a pretty decent shooter from what I can remember. I haven't gone back to it since I bought it, to be honest. I should really. There is a gameplay on my channel, of course, as always, so please check it out if you want to. Yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad. So next up, fantastic game. I absolutely love this. One of my favourite SNES games, Super Star Wars. Very hard game. Really, really cool 2D platformer. Some fantastic music. A really great rendition of the Star Wars theme tune. Awesome graphics. A lot of fun to play. You run around with your light phaser. Light phaser? Where the hell did that come from? I don't even know what you call it because I don't like Star Wars. Shock horror. I'm a Star Trek guy. But yeah, you get you get your lightsaber. You get your guns. There's a lot of enemies to blast. Really cool platform. It can be a little frustrating in places, but very, very cool game. So then we have Super Empire Strikes Back. More of the same, but harder. Extremely bloody difficult. I can't get anywhere on this game. It's rock hard. Very cool though. And the graphics just keep getting better in these Star Wars games. They're absolutely awesome. And then we have Super Return of the Jedi. Gets even harder. They really do challenge you if you play the Star Wars games. I mean, they will kick your ass. Very cool there. So next one up, brilliant game, Super R-Type. I absolutely love this game. It suffers really badly from slowdown, but it's got a really nice soundtrack. The graphics are gorgeous. And it just plays really, really well. It's a lot of fun. I love R-Type anyway, so it doesn't take a lot to impress me, but it's a really good game. And from what I've seen online, when I saw a few months back a gameplay of R-Type 2 on the Amiga, and then I realised that this one was based on R-Type 2 because it's the same levels. It's a cracking game, definitely worth owning. R-Type 3 is way better, but it's still a great game. So next up we have Super Tennis. As I said before when I was talking about Jimmy Connors, good game. I think Jimmy Connors is a better game. It's just, this one's alright. This was another one where I remember it being great. When I actually played it, it wasn't as great as I remembered it. It's just an alright game. Okay, next up we've got an absolute classic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time. Absolutely bloody brilliant. Fantastic. I mean, I loved Turtles growing up. A lot of people my age did like the Ninja Turtles because they're awesome. We love the cartoon, we love the film. I say film, not films, because 2 and 3 were a bit iffy. The first one was great. But yeah, the game is excellent. It's a scrolling beat 'em up, based around the Turtles universe. You pick one of the 4 Turtles, batter everything in sight. I think fantastic boss battles, really cool mode 7. I mean, the music, the graphics, the cutscenes, just everything, man. The game is just absolute quality from start to finish. It's excellent. Although I say start to finish, I've never actually finished the game. I've gotten close, but every time I try and get near the end, I end up running out of bleeding credits and life. It's a tough little game, but it's an absolutely fantastic title. As it says, Turtles in Time, so you go through different time periods. So, you know, you go to the future, you go back to the dinosaurs, you play a level where you're a pirate. I mean, it's just an absolutely brilliant, fun game, and definitely one to own. Next up, we've got a platform game, which, along with Cool World, I picked up for $3, brand new, sealed, which I was well chuffed. The Addams Family by Ocean. Really cool little game. Basically, my mind just went blank then, what I was going to say. Oh my god, that's annoying. Yeah, it's a really cool little platform game. And you play as Gomez Addams, a little tiny mini version of him. It's really strange when you look at it. And you navigate the levels by going through doorways which take you into each level. It's not an easy game, and he tends to slide around a lot when you're running. It's a bit weird, but it's a very cool game. Definitely one worth looking at. So then we have the sequel, which is the Addams Family Pugsley's Scavenger Hunt, which is graphically better. It looks really nice, but it's a bloody hard game. I can't get anywhere on this game. I find it extremely difficult. You know, like a lot of platformers, they really do test your skills, but yeah, it's a really bright, colourful game where you play as Pugsley Addams instead. Yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad. If I could get further in the game, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. Next one up is Disney's Jungle Book. Really decent actually, not bad at all. Really nice looking, colourful platform game. I say based on the Jungle Book, so you play as Mowgli, you get to run around the jungle, jumping across platforms and vines, bouncing on animals. It's a really, really nice game. Definitely worth playing that one. And it's really cheap as well, it only cost me £2. Right, so next up we've got The Lost Vikings, which was also donated to me by an absolutely awesome YouTuber as well. Really interesting game, this one. It's basically like a strategy type game where you got the 3 Vikings, and they all have different skill sets, and in order to progress through each level you have to use each of the Vikings' skills to progress through the level. It's a really cool game, and it takes a lot of thought. It's difficult, and I'm not very good at those kind of games where you have to like try and think. But nah, it's alright actually. It's a really decent game. It just takes a lot of time to get into it because you have to like learn what each of the Vikings has to offer and how you're going to navigate the level. And yeah, but no, it's a really quality game. So there you go. Okay, next up, brilliant platform game, The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. Now, this is always compared to the Castle of Illusion on the Mega Drive because they're the main 2 Mickey Mouse games at the time. 2 completely different games with completely different art styles, but I prefer Castle of Illusion because Castle of Illusion is just an absolutely awesome game with stunning graphics and sound and music and just brilliant game. But this one is actually really nice. It's very colourful, very bright, very Super Nintendo, you know, very Disney Super Nintendo. But it's a cracking little game. Yeah, it's basically essentially it's a Mickey Mouse game, so you can't go wrong. Definitely want to try it at least and see what you think, but I really enjoy it. So the next one we have is the third in the Rival Turf series, and that is The Peacekeepers. Another game that's becoming, well, it's always been difficult to get, and it's still not that easy, but it is becoming more more abundant on eBay. There's just not loads of them. You just get the odd one now and again. So you can pick it up, but it's not cheap either. People keep asking silly buy now prices for it. A good friend of mine on here, CC10 Gaming, helped me get this one because I was having trouble trying to get a copy. It's actually pretty decent. It's not bad. Brawl Brothers is still my favourite of the 3 games, despite its flaws on the US copy. But this one is actually pretty damn good. It's quite interesting. The only annoying thing about this game is when you turn it on first of all, I was like, where's the music? And then I eventually found out you have to go into the options and turn the music on because it's got sound effects on. Don't really understand what that was all about. But pretty cool game. I actually quite like the art and all. The cover's not bad at all. It's pretty decent, that is. So next one we've got is the Super Aquatic Games starring the Aquabats. So you've got like James Pond and some other characters. So basically this is like, if anyone remembers like the track and field games where you just tap the crap out of your buttons, it's like that. So you have like it's just aquatic games. It's like you got like running games, like it's the same sort of track and field, and you have to just like put the pad on your leg and just tap the buttons rapidly to make him run. It's alright. It's not too bad. It ain't gonna blow your mind, but I mean, it's decent. And then we have the Terminator. Pretty crap, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's another one I got in that bundle of games from a fellow YouTuber ages ago. And it's an alright game. But it ain't as good as the Mega Drive game. The Mega Drive game is way more loyal to the film. It's a lot more fun as well. But this one, yeah, it's just an average game. It just looks okay. I wouldn't really go mental over it. So next up we have Time Slip. This one is basically a Contra rip-off. So you run and gun, you climb up walls, you jump across platforms. You could say it's a poor man's Contra, but it's actually not a bad little game. It's alright in its own right. It's pretty decent. The first time I ever saw this, I think it was Lafarius did a gameplay of it a long time ago, and it captured my interest. So if you like Contra games, run and guns, then I'll definitely at least give it a try because it isn't expensive. So it's worth playing just to see what it's like. Next up, Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster Bust Loose. Another Konami classic, absolutely brilliant platform game. You play as Buster Bunny, and it's like sort of Sonic the Hedgehog but with a rabbit, if you want to put it that way. It's really cool. You leg it across levels, you go up and over platforms, you have really cool boss battles. There's a really cool level on a train where there's these nets that catch you. It's a really, really fun game, and definitely one to own. It's just Konami, they're just great. Next up, I need to get a mouse for this one because I haven't played it yet. This is Troddlers, which is, as far as I'm aware, because I don't remember much about it from back in the day, but it's sort of like a Lemmings game, I assume. I mean, it's been a long time since I played anything like this. Yeah, it's hard to tell from those screenshots. But yeah, it's basically like a puzzle kind of thing. Like that's what I'm assuming. I'm going to have to say I haven't played it yet because I haven't got a mouse. I can't remember if I did play it when I was a kid or not. I probably did. But I'm assuming looking at it, it's like Lemmings where you got to guide the characters across the level and, you know, help them through by solving, like using their skills and things. I don't know. I'm just making it up really. I don't know. I'll wait till I play it and then I'll tell you. Right, next one. One I got recently, which I'm really happy to finally have. UN Squadron. Absolutely stonking shooter. Horizontal shooter. Absolutely gorgeous graphics. The music is phenomenal. The game is bloody brilliant. It's so much fun to play. It's tough, but man, it's fun. It's such a quality game. Absolutely worth getting if you like shooters, especially horizontal ones. As I say, it's just awesome game. Check out my gameplay because it is quality. Probably not my game playing, but the game itself. So then we have WWF Royal Rumble. Some classic wrestlers there. Bret the Hitman Hart, The Undertaker, Mr. Perfect. Oh yeah. I really like these old 2D wrestling games. They're much better than the modern 3D wrestling simulators as they are more than anything. These are just classic arcade games where you just run around, punch people, kick them, throw them out of the ring. It's just brilliant. It's a really fun game, and I do want to get all of the other games that were released. There were quite a few wrestling games on the SNES, so I want to get all the WWF titles. Okay guys, so this is it now. We're coming to the end, and the last game in my collection at the moment is a brilliant game, and that is Zombies Ain't My Neighbours. One I've never played until I recently got it, and it's absolutely superb. It basically says there are 55 undeadly levels, and the idea is that you have to save all of the innocents and kill the zombies as you're doing it with your water gun. It's just really, really, really fun. It's a simple concept, but an absolutely bloody brilliant game. It looks really good, sounds great as well. And yeah, I'm surprised I've never played it until recently. I should have played it years ago because it's absolutely superb. So yeah, one definitely to buy and play and enjoy, and it's just excellent. So that's it, guys. That's all my Super Nintendo games at the moment. I do have some Japanese games and have one PAL game, but for this video I just want to show my main collection, which is the American Super Nintendo games. When I get more Japanese and PAL games, I'll probably do a separate video for those at some point, but that's in the future. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. It's been a hell of a long video. If you've managed to watch the whole video in one go, congratulations. But yeah, either way, if you watch it in one go or you watch it in sections, thank you very much for watching it all. Thank you for any comments that you want to leave at the bottom as well, because I'll appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely awesome. I'm really enjoying collecting for my Super Nintendo. It is just fantastic. It is my favourite system of all time, so it's brilliant to be able to do this now as an adult. And I'm looking forward to getting to 200. It's going to take a long time, but I'm really looking forward to getting those extra games. So there you go. So thank you very much for watching, guys. And I'll just show you a pan of all the games now. Or I may just show one large shot so you can see them all. But thank you for watching. Okay, guys, I couldn't really get a decent angle in this room, so I am quite far back, but as you can see, that is what 101 Super Nintendo looks like. Super Nintendo games look like. There is technically 103 there because I've got a couple of doubles at the bottom, but there you go. Those are my American Super Nintendo games at the moment. And you can also see in the top left hand corner there's some Japanese games there and my N64 games. But yeah, that is my collection as it stands on the Super Nintendo American games. Very chuffed with it, very happy with it. It can only get better as it grows, I suppose. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all again soon.